7 days. That was all it took for me to realize something that years of chasing success had failed to teach me. I didn't need a new life. I needed new habits. For a long time, I believed transformation happened through one extraordinary decision. A new opportunity. A new job. A new beginning. But the Stoics saw life differently. They believed your future is never created in one dramatic moment. It is quietly shaped by the ordinary choices you repeat every single day. The moment you wake up. The way you respond to discomfort. The thoughts you allow to stay in your mind. The promises you either keep or break to yourself. At first, these moments seem too small to matter. But Marcus Aurelius understood something most people overlook. Your character is nothing more than your repeated actions. And your life eventually becomes a reflection of your character. Looking back, I realized my biggest obstacle wasn't a lack of talent. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't difficult people. It was the unconscious routines I had accepted as normal. Every day I delayed important work. Every day, I chose comfort over discipline. Every day, I allowed distractions to steal hours I could never recover. Then I decided to change just 7 habits. Not forever. Just for 1 week. What surprised me wasn't how difficult they were. It was how quickly they changed the way I thought. My mornings became calmer. My decisions became clearer. My emotions became steadier. My confidence no longer depended on motivation. It depended on consistency. If you've ever felt trapped inside the same cycle, working hard without feeling fulfilled, always planning but rarely changing, this message is for you. Because transformation doesn't begin when your circumstances improve. It begins the moment your habits do.
Welcome to True Stoic Journal, the path to inner control.
The first habit was waking up before the world demanded my attention. For years, the first thing I touched every morning wasn't my own mind. It was my phone. Before my feet even touched the floor, I had already invited stress, comparison, and distraction into my day. The Stoics believed that whoever controls your attention eventually influences your life. So I changed one simple thing. I stopped beginning my mornings with noise. Instead, I began with silence. At first, waking up earlier felt uncomfortable. Every excuse sounded convincing. 5 more minutes. Tomorrow will be easier. Nothing will really change. But every morning I ignored those excuses. I won a small battle against myself. And those small victories began creating confidence. The quiet hours before sunrise became my favorite part of the day. No notifications. No interruptions. No pressure. Just enough silence to hear my own thoughts again. I started stretching. Reading a few pages from Marcus Aurelius. Planning my day instead of reacting to it. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing the day. I was leading it. I realized waking up early wasn't about having more hours. It was about owning the first moments of my life before the world claimed them. The second habit was moving my body every single day. Not because I wanted to impress anyone. Because I wanted my discipline to become stronger than my excuses. Seneca believed that comfort, when constantly pursued, quietly weakens the spirit. That sentence stayed with me. Some mornings I walked. Other days I exercised. Sometimes it lasted 20 minutes. Sometimes 40. The length mattered less than the consistency. There were mornings I wanted to skip. Those mornings became the most valuable. Because every workout wasn't simply training my body. It was teaching my mind something far more important. I don't need to feel motivated to do what is necessary. That lesson slowly appeared everywhere else in my life. Work became easier. Stress became lighter. Challenges felt less intimidating. Not because life changed. Because I had changed. Exercise stopped being about fitness. It became proof that discipline creates freedom. The third habit transformed the conversations I had with myself. Every evening before sleeping, I opened a notebook and wrote honestly. No audience. No perfect words. Only truth. At first, I didn't know what to write. Then I asked myself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fail myself? What can I improve tomorrow? Those 3 questions slowly became a mirror. I noticed patterns I had ignored for years. The same fears. The same excuses. The same unnecessary worries. Writing removed their power. Thoughts that felt overwhelming inside my mind suddenly looked much smaller on paper. Marcus Aurelius often wrote private reflections that were never meant to be published. He wasn't writing to impress anyone. He was training his own thinking. That inspired me to stop judging my thoughts. And start understanding them. Little by little, clarity replaced confusion. I stopped carrying yesterday's mistakes into tomorrow. Every page became another opportunity to begin again. The fourth habit seemed almost too simple to matter. I started paying attention while I ate. Before this experiment, meals were nothing more than another task squeezed into a busy schedule. I ate while scrolling through my phone. While watching videos. While thinking about work. My body was receiving food, but my mind was somewhere else entirely. Then I remembered something Epictetus taught. If you cannot govern small desires, greater temptations will eventually govern you. So I slowed everything down. I tasted every bite. I noticed when I was actually hungry. And when I was simply bored, anxious, or emotionally tired. That single change revealed something unexpected. Many of my daily decisions weren't conscious at all. They were automatic. Mindful eating wasn't really teaching me about food. It was teaching me about awareness. If I could become present during something as ordinary as a meal, I could become present during conversations, difficult decisions, and stressful moments, too. I discovered that peace isn't found only in meditation. Sometimes it's found in something as simple as eating one quiet meal without distraction. That small habit gradually spread into every part of my life. I became less rushed. Less impatient. More grateful. And far more aware of how often I had been living on autopilot. The fifth habit was limiting the amount of noise I allowed into my mind. For years, every free moment belonged to a screen. Waiting in line. I reached for my phone. Sitting alone. I reached for my phone. Feeling slightly uncomfortable. I reached for my phone again. At first, I believed I was simply staying informed. But eventually, I realized something uncomfortable. I had forgotten how to sit quietly with my own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius believed the quality of your mind depends upon what you continually allow into it. That forced me to ask myself a difficult question. If I spend hours feeding my attention to distractions, how can I expect my mind to remain focused? So I created simple boundaries. No phone during meals. No phone during the first hour of the morning. No phone before sleep. The first few days felt strange. My hands reached for my pocket almost automatically. That's when I understood that distraction had become a habit rather than a necessity. As the days passed, something beautiful happened. Books became interesting again. Long walks became peaceful again. Conversations became deeper. Silence stopped feeling uncomfortable. Instead of constantly consuming information, I finally had time to think about it. The sixth habit completely changed the way I viewed my life. Every evening, I wrote down 3 things I genuinely appreciated. Some days, they were meaningful achievements. Other days, they were surprisingly ordinary. A conversation with someone I loved. A healthy body that carried me through another day. The quiet beauty of the evening sky. At first, it felt insignificant. How could writing 3 simple sentences possibly change anything? But gratitude slowly changed the direction of my attention. Instead of noticing only what was missing, I began noticing everything that had quietly been supporting me all along. Seneca once reminded us that the person who is content with little possesses something that wealth alone can never buy. Contentment. The more gratitude became a habit, the fewer comparisons controlled my happiness. I stopped measuring my life against everyone else's. I became more patient with my own progress. And strangely, the more grateful I became, the more motivated I felt to continue improving. Because gratitude doesn't make ambition disappear. It simply removes desperation from it. The final habit connected everything else. Every night before sleeping, I asked myself one question. Did I become slightly better today than I was yesterday? Not more successful. Not richer. Not more admired. Simply better. Some nights the answer was yes. Other nights it wasn't. But instead of judging myself, I learned from myself. That became the greatest lesson of the entire week. The Stoics never expected perfection. They expected progress. Every mistake became feedback. Every setback became another opportunity to practice patience. Every new day became another chance to live with greater wisdom than the day before. Looking back now, none of these habits was extraordinary. There was no secret formula. No miracle morning. No overnight transformation. The real change happened because these habits slowly changed the person, making every decision. And when the person changes, life naturally follows. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to improve your life, don't wait for next month. Don't wait for next year. Begin with one habit. Practice it until it becomes part of your character. Then build another. And another. Because your future will never be created by one dramatic breakthrough. It will always be shaped by the small promises you continue keeping when no one is watching. Months from now, people may look at your life and wonder what suddenly changed. They'll think you became lucky. They'll think success happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't one big decision. It was hundreds of quiet decisions repeated every single day. And those ordinary decisions quietly created an extraordinary life. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone ready to transform their daily habits, and subscribe to True Stoic Journal for more timeless lessons on discipline, wisdom, and self-mastery. Remember this asterisk: you don't become the person you've always wanted to be in one extraordinary day. You become that person through the ordinary habits you choose to repeat every single day. And that is where every remarkable life truly begins.